So this is an overview of a series of talks by Puja Swami Omkarananda on Sankara's Bhaja Govindam. Now this version has 33 verses, and trust me, every single one is a compact, powerful lesson. And it kicks off with a line that's really designed to stop you right in your tracks.
Right from the very first line, you can tell Sankara's message is incredibly direct. He just comes right out with this startling command, "Seek Govinda, O deluded mind." Now, as Swamiji explains, this isn't meant to be an insult. It's more of a compassionate, urgent wake-up call for every single one of us who gets lost in the distractions of life, forgetting what actually matters.
So, what is this delusion that Sankara is so keen to wake us up from? Well, he starts with a diagnosis, a hard look at the fundamental human condition. And the core problem he points to is our deep-seated failure to see just how impermanent, well, everything in our lives really is.
To paint a picture of this, Sankara uses some just unbelievably powerful imagery. He says our existence is as fragile and temporary as a drop of water trembling on a lotus leaf. You know? It's here 1 second and it could be gone the next. We go about our lives acting like we have all the time in the world, but our reality is much more like this delicate, fleeting existence.
Swamiji has this fantastic way of describing the effect of these verses. He uses a Tamil phrase, sammaṭṭi adakiro maridi, which perfectly captures the feeling of a blow from a sledgehammer. You see, this isn't some gentle, armchair philosophy. Sankara's words are designed to be direct, to be impactful, to literally shatter the illusions that we all live by.
And here are the primary targets of that sledgehammer. Sankara just systematically dismantles everything we tend to rely on for our security, for our identity. Our youth, it's going to fade. Our wealth, that can vanish overnight. The relationships we depend on, so often they're conditional. And even this physical body, which feels so solid and so us, is ultimately just a temporary home.
Okay, so this brings us to the root cause. If everything is so fleeting, why do we suffer so much? Sankara's diagnosis is incredibly precise here. He says, all our suffering comes from one fundamental problem: attachment. It's a concept known as Moha.
You know, getting a handle on this concept of Moha is absolutely crucial. As Swamiji explains it, it's this deep-seated delusion that makes us mistake the temporary things, our bodies, our jobs, our possessions, for what's permanent and real. This one fundamental error in how we perceive the world is the very source of all our anxiety and sorrow.
And this moha shows up in some very specific ways, creating a kind of web that traps us. There's an endless craving for more wealth, dana. Then there's the desperate clinging to other people for our happiness, or jhana. The constant chase after pleasure, kama. And of course the fixation on our physical body. Sankara is saying that it's this tangled mess of attachments that keeps us in a state of constant fear and dissatisfaction.
And to really drive this point home, Sankara doesn't pull any punches. He uses these brutally honest examples. I mean, take this one. It's a stark observation that our value in the world, even to those we love, is often tied to our usefulness, our ability to earn. When that fades with age, the attention often fades with it. It's a jarring thought for sure, but it's meant to make us really question where we place our ultimate trust.
But here's the thing. After delivering such a sobering diagnosis, Sankara doesn't just leave us there in despair. He offers a clear, practical prescription, a path to break free from this cycle of delusion and find a kind of peace that doesn't depend on whatever is happening around us.
So here it is, the 4-part cure for this ailment of moha. It all starts with that central command, Bhaja Govindam. Turn your mind toward Bhagavan, the permanent reality, and away from the fleeting world. From there, you seek satsanga, the company of wise, spiritual people whose presence helps reinforce that truth. Next, as Swamiji really emphasizes, you dive into scriptures like the Bhagavad Gita. And finally, all of this leads to self-inquiry, the practice of asking the deepest questions. Who am I? Really? What is my source?
You know, even the structure of the chant itself has a deeper meaning. Ever wonder why it's repeated 3 times? Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindaṃ Bhaja. Well, Swamiji explains that this is no accident. This threefold repetition is actually a prescribed remedy to help counteract the 3 fundamental sources of suffering we all face. Suffering that comes from our own minds and bodies, suffering caused by other people, and suffering from the forces of nature that are totally beyond our control. So what happens when we actually follow this prescription? What's the result of shifting our focus away from the temporary and towards the eternal? Well, we end up discovering a totally different kind of wealth, an inner treasure that can never, ever be lost.
And this is the choice it really presents us with. On one side, you've got the world's promise of fleeting pleasure, which, let's be honest, often leads to more anxiety and just endless craving. But on the other side, you have the path of wisdom, which leads to an enduring peace, a genuine fearlessness in the face of uncertainty, and a deep contentment that has absolutely nothing to do with getting the next thing.
And this leads us to the ultimate result. The final goal here is something called moksha, or total liberation. Swamiji translates this core teaching just beautifully. Once the ultimate truth is known, the cycle of birth and death is no more. So this isn't just about feeling a little bit better in our current life. It's about breaking free from the entire cycle of suffering for good. This entire text, all these hammer blows of wisdom, they're not meant to be just some intellectual exercise. They are designed to provoke a deep, personal reflection. And that brings us to one final, crucial question.
At the end of the day, Sankara's challenge isn't for some scholar or a monk in a cave. It's intensely personal. It's for you and it's for me. After being reminded so forcefully of the fragile, unsteady nature of everything we're taught to chase, the question is just left hanging in the air for each of us to answer for ourselves. What will you seek now?